Welcome back to the DNX show, and today we're going to be talking all about the High Point National. All right, so Doc, what was your biggest takeaway from the 450 class?
I mean, it's kind of a generic one, but I'm just going to go with it's over. You know, I think we talked about it last week. In order to stop the jet train, Tomac needed to go 1-1 or at least make up like significant points on jet. And he did not do that. Well, fortunately, he didn't lose significant points considering he went 5 the first moto. But honestly, man, that he could have made up so many points if he would have just went 1-1, you know?
For Tomac in that first moto, even after getting a bad start, I was like, okay, we got 30 minutes. He's going to find his groove. And like, I was expecting him to go get a podium. All right. I saw those lap times come through and I'm like, dude, he just ran a 405 or he ran 405. Yeah, I was like, dude, he just ran a 205. Guys, he just ran a 204. And I was like, he is hauling ass right now. And I even said on like the watch party, I don't know if I put it in the reactions, but I said that guy is going to get second place right now. And then he got behind Jay Coop, and then he ran 207, 209, 209, and just stuck behind him. And that was basically over for him. And I was just so surprised that he got to the rear tire and just never got around him. Like, I don't understand how that happens for him. I did hear, I should say, that when he got to Jay Coop, he just fell into that pace and then just couldn't do anything about it.
It's super weird. Like, I've never been like, Tomac doesn't, I don't know, through the years, doesn't really seem like one that gets stuck behind people. Like when he's on that charge, right? Like when it's time for him to be passing people, he's passing people. And I feel like that's been like his kryptonite this year. He's gotten to the back of Jet multiple times. He's got stuck behind Jay Coop. He got stuck behind AP. He got stuck behind Hunter. He's been getting stuck behind a lot of people, like gets to them and then stops. And it's very odd. Like it seems strange for Tomac to be doing that.
I remember watching I was like, as I'm watching the race, right? And he got to the rear tire of Jay Coop. I'm like, guys, that's Hunter over the tabletop right in front of him. Like they were legit at one point, I would say 6 seconds, maybe 5 seconds from Hunter, which was 15 minutes left almost. Maybe not 15. It was like 10 minutes left, maybe 8 minutes left. And he was right there. I'm like, he gets by Jay Coop. He's getting Hunter and I don't know if he'll get Jet, right? Jet was kind of like managing the race after he made that mistake. But still, he was right there with AP. And yeah, just very surprised he didn't go and push at least past Jay Coop. If he goes past Jay Coop, he probably gets second and loses less points, right?
Yeah, pretty sad. I was pretty bummed out that first race. That, I don't know, seems like it's been happening a lot where we're like super excited about Tomac and then doesn't work out.
Yeah, it's very, very strange. For my biggest takeaway, I think it's time we hit the panic button for Jorge Prado. All right. Now, I know I originally said that this year I'm giving him a pass. I said it. Like, it's a new team, new track, new bike. He has to learn that one-day format. Bro, he's went 13-17 the last 2 weeks. I'm expecting I expected him to be a top 6 guy, not finishing 17th, not finishing 13th. Like,
what happened in Moto 2?
Crazy. He just 23rd. There's nothing on him. Like, I don't remember him going down.
Dang.
If I remember correctly, some people in my comment section say he got lapped by Tomac in that race. Like,
that's crazy. That's
crazy. I know he's not a mud rider. I get it, 100%. You're a 2-time MXGP champion, bro. You should be top 10 at least. Cooper Webb crashed on the start and got 11th that moto.
Yeah.
You're what?
Yeah, that's surprising. Oh,
I think we hit the red button. I think it's panic time, man.
What does that mean, though? What do we panic? Like, what do we panic? What do we do? We just hit
he goes back to MXGP. No, I don't know. I don't know what. But I truthfully, like, I want to give him a pass. Like, it's his first year in the class. I get it. I want to give him that. But
Could it be the bike?
But yeah, but I'm saying that when I'm giving him this pass, it's 6 through 8, not 13th and 17th, man. Like,
and I guess Ando went 7-7, so like the bikes.
Yeah, I don't think it's the bike. I mean, you saw the start in Moto 1. He has the power. He has the torque. What happened in Moto 1? He was 5th. I almost want to put, like, I have a clip of Jorge, and it was him passing Webb, I think for like 6 on lap 1, maybe lap 2, and he scrubs it on the top of the hill, hits a tabletop, passes Webb. I'm like, bro, Prado was on today. And then Webb got by him, and then we never saw Prado again. He faded to 12th. And then Ben Patrell passed him on the last couple laps. Like, Ben Patrell has never beaten Jorge Prado on the 450 in his career. And he beat him today or last week at High Point. That's crazy.
It is a strange one. You know, I don't know. It could be so many different things, you know? It could be not there because of the injury. It could just not be gelling with the bike. It could be uncomfortable. It could be all of the above. It does seem odd, though, you know?
Like, I don't know how bad the shoulder was. Like, I know he had surgery and all. I think possibly there's some lingering issues there. I don't know 100%. But you're a 2-time champ. You don't fade that bad, even on the worst motorcycle possible, bro. You're not fading to 12th, all right? Something is wrong, 100%. And, yeah, it's very concerning. Now, I'm going to say, I'll still give him a pass, but he got to turn it around. He's got to turn it around a little bit, at least a little bit.
I mean, a little bit. Like, gotta get podium. You think he'll get podium by the end of the year?
Hell no. Not with this performance. Bro, he's been dog shit. Like, I expected him at least to get one. I can't even see him being close. He's like a minute down from 5th. Like,
it's not ideal.
It's bad. Now, let's flip over to the 250 class a little bit. And what was your biggest takeaway for the 250 guys?
Literally the same exact thing as the 450. It's over. But in a different way. With Chance, the end of that moto, Chance, the knee or whatever's going on there, like, I don't think, as of when we're recording this, I don't know of any news yet, right?
Nope, there's nothing as of yet.
Okay. As of yet, I don't know of anything as we're recording this, but it didn't look good, right? It didn't look ideal. And with Chance out, brother, Buddy's got no comp. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, Buddy's got no comp right now. So yeah.
For my biggest takeaway, it's just inconsistent in the class. It looks like Chance Hymas tore his ACL. Just from the images that we got from the broadcast, like, you know when a rider is in pain. And unfortunately, we saw a clip of him under the tent when they were finishing the 450 motos. I think they shouldn't have shown that personally. But it looked very, very bad. And just from his body demeanor, I think that's how you pronounce that, demeanor, it's possibly a torn ACL. And that is not good. That's 6 to 8 months.
Hayden's 42 points up.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
In 4 rounds.
Yeah, he might finish his championship early by 3 rounds, bro. We'll get into that here in the hot takes. But yeah, it's just inconsistent. Like, I'm going through the list here. Tommy V, 4th place Moto 1, 2nd place in Moto 2. Levi Kitchen went 2-6. Chance Hymas, obviously we know with the injury, but he went 5-3. Garrett Marchbank 7-4. Joe Schmoda 6-5. You have Seth Hammaker going 3-14. Minus, he was injured. I get that with the shoulder and stuff, so he faded tremendously with that shoulder injury. Casey Cochran finished 8th, going 11-9. And then one guy that actually was consistent was Nate Thrasher, going 10-10. Like,
W Nate.
Like, everybody above Nate, it's just so inconsistent. And then you got Ty Masherpool going 8-17. We'll get into that here in a second. But it's just so inconsistent. I don't see anybody, like you said, challenging Deegan. Like, there's not one person I think could even win a moto now that Chance is out. And if Deegs go down, I don't even see anybody still beating him, even if Deegs go down in the first corner. Like,
I feel like I can confidently say Deegs should not lose a race the rest of the year. Like, unless
overall,
he was
or just moto?
Motos.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, who's going to beat him right now?
He was in cruise control. In first place,
Joe,
10 seconds up in first and just cruising, man.
Joe could win, but, like, Deegs would have to wad pretty bad.
Yeah. I mean, I think Joe can be a contender. He's really good at Southwick, and he's really good at, say, Bud's Creek, like, or not Bud's Creek, Red Bud. Like, Joe's very good at Red Bud, so I could see that.
Hayden's not losing Red Bud, dude. Hayden's gonna win off
he
of
lost
just
last year to a chance.
not this. He's not gonna lose this year, brother. He's gonna win that off just pure pride for the nation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true. Yeah, no, but I seriously, at least overalls, I don't see him losing an overall going forward. And if he gets the starts that he got at High Point, it's gonna be a snooze fest, and we're watching 3 through 7 interchange one another because they don't know how to freaking ride, go 2-2 and 3-3. So
Yeah, it's crazy. It's actually wild, to be honest.
although that's happening with Hayden, right? And he's winning, he's dominating. I will say we are getting some great battles with the inconsistency happening. And truthfully, like, for example, first moto, Ty versus Joe. That was awesome to watch. Ty cut underneath Joe, making the passes, Joe and them catching up to Nate, going 2 for 1 in the sweeper down the hill. Like, that was freaking sick to watch. Let's go into the biggest surprises for the weekend, and let's stay in the 250 class. And for my biggest surprise, it was actually Joe crashing multiple times. We don't normally see that. Like, yes, he crashes occasionally, but back-to-back motos, like, if he doesn't crash in Moto 1, I truthfully believe he goes up and maybe fights Hymas and Tom Vial for second, third. And then Moto 2, he was already fighting for that like top 5 spot and goes down. So yeah, just very, very frustrating to watch that happen because, as we just mentioned, Joe can win a race if he puts it together, right? Potentially. And yeah, just kind of my biggest surprise is him crashing so many times.
Honestly, I was just surprised with, I'll go a positive, Tom getting back on the podium. Okay, yay. Good job, Mr. World Champion. Also for the negative, what is going on with Juju? Like, same kind of thing as Jorge. Like, Juju win 1540, like 15 DNF. Like, the DNF is whatever, but 15 in the first moto that wasn't a mutter. That's a factory guy,
dude. I don't know.
Like I don't know. That's interesting.
I wouldn't say panic button for Juju as much as Jorge, because never really expected much from Julian outdoors. I'm just gonna be honest. I thought he should be like top 7, top 8, right? But
he's not.
Yeah, he's kind of struggling just with Prado. But I mean, 15th isn't gonna cut it, right? 40th DNF. Like, I know the crash was pretty gnarly and his bike was messed up, so that's why he pulled off.
The DNF, fair, right? Like, that's its own thing.
And he's saying in like interviews that he's riding in the week so good, but it just from the weekends, it's just not putting it together the last couple of weeks. Yes, very surprised that he's not top 6. Like, he should be 7th right now. Like we said, he should be 7th, right? And getting, what was it, 20th overall? Not great. For my biggest surprise for the 450s though was, and we talked about it a little bit, was Eli not being able to pass those guys. And him just falling into that J Coop pace. And truthfully, J Coop actually kind of gapped him a couple laps. Like, when Eli got right behind him, J Coop was like, oh shit, I gotta go, man. And put down some burners, built out that gap a little bit. And obviously the last lap, it was like close or whatever. But still, Tomac couldn't even get by him on the last lap. And that's my surprise. Like, as we mentioned in our predictions, he needed to go 1-1. He needed to have like a statement ride. He needed to gain some points. Not being able to pass J Coop and, for example, even Hunter to get into, say, 4th place or 3rd place, excuse me, that's not ideal. He's losing more. He's now down 22, I think it is, for the points. And, 28 points to Jet. That's already over a moto. And, yeah, just he needed to make up that extra 6 points, right? Instead of a 28-point gap, it could have been a 19-point gap, an 18-point gap, right? So, yeah, very, very concerning.
We're going to play devil's advocate for old T-Mac here. You know, he was talking about how he wanted to stay on the bike, and that track was brutal, and maybe he just wasn't willing to crash and just wanted to try to finish motos out. Southwick is also brutal, but I feel like it like lends into Tomac's style of he can push really hard because it's sand, and like crashing isn't as much of a risk. I know that sounds crazy, but like in the tight technical ruts, Tomac style, I feel like is real dangerous in that, you know, like it's real easy for him to make a little mistake and go down, where a little bit more opened sand track, he can really send it. And so I'm just wondering, he might, hopefully, buddy, just on corkser, you know what I'm saying? And
I'm going to go the opposite way here. All right. And I would say he put down 205, 204s, fastest laps of the race. He was sending it. And then he got behind Jay Cooper and he wasn't sending it. So I would say that I don't necessarily am going to see that at Southwick. I'm going to see most likely the same thing. I'm going to say like he gets a horrible start. Horrible is like 10th place. He gets up to freaking 4th place, which is most likely going to be Jay Cooper, Hunter, or AP, and he's going to fall right there. Jet's going to be out into the lead with like a 4-second gap, managing the race, and he's not going to be able to pass these guys. That's what we're going to watch, and that's what we're going to see. And we're going to be like, oh, Tomac's rail in these corners. He gets stuck in 4th place, and he finishes like 4-2, goes 2nd overall. You can clip it. It's going to happen, all right?
my biggest surprise for the 450 class was a positive, and that was Joey Savacci. You know, Joey Savacci, 6th overall, going 8-6. We love that. We love that for Joey.
Let's go into our best rides. And for 450, I actually have Joey Savacci for my best ride because I didn't expect that. Like, I knew Joey's good. I didn't expect him to get a 6th place. I mean, he beat out Anderson, Prado, Webb, RJ. Like, RJ is our 6th guy right now, right? And he beat him straight up. And yeah, we got to give Joey his props for that.
My 450, I mean, this is a little, oh no, maybe not. I don't want to say not deserving as a best ride because we kind of expect him there, but this is the best I think we've seen him ride all year. That's Hunter. Looked great. Hunter Lawrence looked very good. A little 2-2 action. Definitely the second best guy on the track, like throughout the day. Obviously, that's why I got second. But that was like a very Ricky Carmichael line. You know, if they win, they'll get the most points. But yeah, just kind of see him coming around. You know, he seems to do this all the time though, where he has a couple slow rounds and then he builds as the year goes on, and then he's like a demon at the end of the year.
You know what's surprising for me for Hunter? And I didn't think he was going to be right there with the boys this year. I thought maybe last year was kind of a fluke situation, right? Because we only had Chase, and Chase is a terrible starter, and Hunter's a great starter. And so, like, I thought, and they were the best guys in the class, right? But I thought this year with having Tomac, AP, Chase at the very beginning, right? Justin Cooper coming into form, I thought he was going to be like 4-5. He's showing out every single weekend. Great starts. He's right there on the box. And one thing I'll say for Hunter too is in second moto, when he in that mud race, he was actually catching Tomac. And he said in an interview, I think he was saying, like, I was trying to play the game with the goggles situation. Like, do I stay out in case Tomac messes up with the goggles, or do I go in and like get new goggles, or do I toss my goggles? But if I don't toss my goggles, I'll just stay here. But if I toss my goggles, I might get roosted. Like, he's playing that, and then obviously the red flag having didn't really matter. But yeah, Hunter is very good, and like that just shows how good of a rider he is because he's thinking about that during the race and still managing to catch Tomac and still get second, right? What about your 250s though?
I mean, looking down the list, I feel like there's only one person that I feel like really deserves the best ride, and he actually didn't even really do that good on paper. But for coming back from an Achilles, gotta be Jalik. You know, he looked great, looked super racy, looked honestly really fast. And I mean, if this is the worst Jalik we got, oh my gosh, buddy's gonna be insane by the end of the year, you know?
Yeah, that is my guy as well. I thought personally he could be a top 10 guy. Like I said that in the Everything Moto, and I was like, but that's just based off of him doing good at High Point before, right? Like, he loves that track, right? I didn't expect him to be up there in the front. And if Moto won, he faded.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's realistic. Like,
expected.
Expected. But coming back second Moto and actually being out there and battling and passing late in the Moto, I did not expect that. And him getting He wasn't seventh. I will say he wasn't seventh. And I guess in an interview with Weege, is he kind of like cased something and he heard a pop in his ankle. And he's like, oh crap, maybe I did something. And so he kind of faded a lot and Mikel Harup got by him on the last lap. But it turns out he's completely fine and he was just kind of being precautious there. But regardless, 14.8 for 10th overall. Outstanding race by him. Outstanding race. I personally believe that he can do some damage later on. And we'll get to our hot takes because it's kind of spicy, but we'll get to it. I think he can do some damage. Let's go into our letdowns. And let's stay in the 250s. All right. And for me personally, we kind of talked about him a little bit. That was Julian Beaumer. But I'm also going to throw another guy in there. And that is Ty Masterpool. All right. He won this race last year. And I personally thought he was going to do some damage. All right. I thought he was going to go out there. He'd come out swinging. He's really good at the track. That didn't happen. That did not happen one bit. He finished 8-17 for 11th overall. Jalek Swoll beat him. And I did hear that he was throwing up again. And this is a 4-week occurrence now. He's been throwing up in the moto, or like before and after the motos. Don't know what's going on for that. So I will lay back my criticism here as a guy sitting in my chair. And so I'm just bummed because he did so well last year and he couldn't back it up this year.
I have Joe, and you kind of already mentioned it, that, you know, just crashing multiple times. I still just can't get over how he went 2-2, 2-2, and then has not done that at all since the first two rounds. You know, like 6-5. I mean, maybe those results don't really show how good he rode, but he crashed, you know, and took himself out of it. So I'm bummed. Like, again, kind of like what you said, I'm not trying to criticize. I'm bummed. I want to see Joe do well. And he showed up the first couple rounds like, okay, cool, we got Joe back. And now he's kind of doing what Joe does sometimes, of being really high highs and then mids, you know?
I believe he should be the second best guy. After what we saw the first two rounds, he should be the second, maybe third best guy with Hymas, right? Now, Hymas is hurt, obviously. I expect Joe to be second, right? Every moto. Like, I expect him to be there.
Yeah, definitely now.
Right? Yeah, kind of definitely bummed. And I'm going to go back to my season predictions here, man. Biggest flop. If this trajectory, like, continues, man, it might be. Because he started out hot, and then he's just kind of going down. You know what I'm saying? So.
All right, let's do some hot takes.
Okay. What do you want to start with? 250s or 450s?
We'll start with 250s because I think yours is insane, and mine's normal. Okay, mine's like fairly reasonable. Yours is insane. Last week, my hot take was Deegan wraps up the chip 3 motos early. I'm now upping that to 4. It might really, honestly, I think I might be able to go 5. Maybe we'll put that next week.
Dude, what did you say? 42 up on Joe?
Yeah.
Bro, that's already almost that's almost a full round.
Yeah, so next week, tune in next week to see if I put it to 5. I might put it to 6 at this point. I don't know.
Okay, so for my 250 hot take, this is bold. This is kind of bold, and it is all because of the hype that we just watched this past weekend. And that is because I think Jalek Swoll can win a race coming up. All right. I was looking at his stats. He's pretty good at the tracks coming up. All right. He showed some promise at High Point. He's just finding his foundation, finding his speed, finding his conditioning. Bro, as we mentioned, a lot of things need to happen for this to happen. I mean, like, just for example, Deegan definitely needs to go down. But I do believe that Jalek could get it done as a hot take. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I think he can.
Jalek has a better chance at a moto win than Tom Vial?
Absolutely. As of right now, absolutely. After what I just saw at High Point coming back from an Achilles injury, absolutely. He gets a start, and he can battle with the boys.
Does Jalek have a better shot at getting a moto win than Levi Kitchen?
As of right now, absolutely. I don't know, to be honest. Levi's been riding great, but then again, he kind of fades a little bit in the motos, right?
Yeah,
in Moto 2, he
does.
faded. I mean, I think Tommy V has a better shot than Levi Kitchen get a moto win. And it all really depends on what happens with Deegan in the first lap. That's all I got to say. So,
honestly, you know who I think has the best shot at a moto win if he can figure out how to like not be 25th in the first lap is Garrett Marchbanks.
yeah, very true. He started once again 15th with Chance Hymas, and then he finished 7th. I think Chance finished right there in front of him.
If he can just start the race ahead of Deegan.
Possible.
Like,
Plus, like
front,
25 spots in front of Deegan.
All right, Gary, he's disrespecting you. Okay?
No, I'm just saying.
Right. Speaking of disrespect, I'm apparently about to disrespect the entire 450 class. My hot take for the 450 class is nobody will finish on the podium other than the top 5 in points the rest of the year, which is
I kind of like
Jet
that.
Lawrence, Hunter Lawrence, AP, Justin Cooper, and Tomac. Those are the only people you're going to see on the podium the rest of the year.
You don't think an RJ Hampshire, a Cooper Webb? What about a Jorge Prado? We just talked about that. Ain't happening.
Can we take it back to the comment section when everyone was saying that Prado was going to go dominate everything?
I didn't think
Okay,
so.
other than the 5, since we're doing this, who do you think could? Other than the 5, Lawrence, Tomac, AP, Justin Cooper, who do you think has the best shot at the podium?
RJ Hampshire. 100% it's RJ.
100% agree. Yeah. That would be the only person looking through the list. Like, honestly, the one I would have put is maybe Malcolm. Like, if Malcolm does this, right? Where, like, when he's hot, Malcolm's real hot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but
Malcolm's hot.
he's not better outdoors than those 5 guys, man. So 6 guys. Like, he's
Yeah.
good, don't get me wrong, but he ain't better than those 6 guys. Outdoors.
I would have said Jason Anderson, but I would have said Hangtown. That would have been like
Budds Creek. Look out for Budds Creek. I think Jason could be good at Budds. He's pretty good there. He's won there too. So.
But I agree. I think RJ is the only one that could do it.
For my hot take for 450s, Jet Lawrence is wrapping this championship up early, bro. I mean, at least right now it's around early. All right. He's, what is it? 28 points up on Tomac. If he just continues to gain, like shit, he can go 1-3 every single weekend and win. He does and still gain points on people. Like, I don't see him losing this championship unless he makes a bonehead move like he did at Hangtown, which he will never do again because he's smarter now, right? You'll never see him make that mistake again. And even his small mistakes are just stalling the motorcycle. Like, and then, yeah, so I think he wraps his championship up early. Maybe a round early. Maybe a couple motos, or I guess one moto early, right? He already has a moto up, right? So, it's going to be interesting to see how Tomac uses this off week and bounces back for the next 7 rounds. Can he go on a win streak? Because that's what we need him to do.
A big one, like 5 rounds.
Okay, I don't know about 5, but like at least 3. All right.
We need like 5-1-1.
He needs to gain 6 points at least multiple rounds in a row, just to even get close. I think. Didn't we do the math and like he needs to get 6 points times 3 is 18 at 24. He needs to go 4 rounds in a row going 1-1.
That's why
I don't see that's happening.
Listen,
man.
I was homeschooled, but the math is hitting sometimes. You know, I
don't see him doing that, bro.
He's not doing that. I agree. Jet Lawrence is not crashing on his own. Like, I think that there's a better chance his bike breaks than him crashing on his own, and I don't think that his bike will break. Right? Like, I think the only way we see like a big upset in the points is like a first turn pileup that takes Jet's bike out or him out.
I will say
Jet's not crashing.
If you watch back Moto 2 of High Point, he almost goes down with Cooper Webb. Cooper Webb tucks the front, gets ran over by Freddie. That sucks for Cooper, sucks for Freddie. But Jet was actually right there.
Yes.
And he actually
very close.
I believe he hit his bike a little bit, got around it and had a horrible start. That's why he was so far back. So, I mean, like you mentioned, He gets a bad start. Anything can happen
Yep.
when you get a bad start. I mean, look at Tomac and Hangtown, who's dead last, right? So
That's the only way I see this champion getting shaken up is a first turn Jet just in the carnage. But Jet's not crashing by himself.
and Jet's
No.
starts are way too damn good to even worry about a
Yeah.
first turn.
That's
crash.
why I said I think, Jet being on the ground, I think it's much more likely his bike checks out, and I don't see that happening either.
I have one more thing I want to bring up here. Someone asked me about this on Twitter, and they said, how would Deegan do on a 250 with Jet on a 450 in a race? And now it kind of got me thinking a little bit. Shout out to Temi Mueller. It kind of got me thinking about this because of Motocross of Nations. Okay. I think there's a couple things you could do here. Now, I will say this was prior to me learning that Chance might tore his ACL. Okay. But what if you sent AP, J Coop, and like Deegan, right? Or excuse me, no, it was like J Coop, Chance, and Deegan as like your guys, or AP, Chance, and Deegan, right? And then you put Deegan on the 250 in that 450 open class. I personally believe Deegan could win that on a 250 versus everybody. Okay. Especially at Ironman. Now, for this question, what would happen with Jet on 450 and Deegan on 250? I think 100% Jet beats him. Just straight up. I think he beats him.
100%. Yeah. Yeah, Jet. Tomac's not beating Jet. Or Deegan's not beating Jet on 250. Not a chance.
A lot of people ask me who's better right now. And it's like Jet or Deegan. And I always have to go back and tell them it's always going to be Jet until Deegan beats him in a championship. Like Deegan is on the path for Jet 100%, and that's what we're leading up to next year, right? But Jet is beating the best guys in the world by just managing races right now, bro. Like,
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, Jet's trying, obviously, but Jet's go back when he gets passed by Hunter. That dude passed Hunter back so fast and checked out so fast. Like that was like I feel like we got like a lap of Jet speed and it was diabolical. Like it was like 5 seconds faster than Hunter in one lap, and then he just cruised again. But I really don't think Jet's like trying to go fast. I mean, obviously he's trying, but I think if he wanted to and he was willing to risk it, he could be putting like 40 seconds on every moto.
I don't know about 40, but he could definitely do like 10 to 15, 10 to 20.
Listen, brother.
40's a lot. I'll just say 40's a lot. But yeah, I just don't see, as of right now, in this particular moment, I think Jet would beat him 9 times out of 10. Truthfully.
Yeah. But I do think Deegan could on a 250 at the Nations. I do think he could podium.
I think he can win like an RV, bro, at Bud's back in the day. I truthfully, in like the open class, like unless like Jet's in the open, whatever. But like if Jet's in the other class, the MX1 class, and Deegan's in the open class.
So you mean Deegan could win his class, just the open class, not the moto?
I think the moto, because isn't it open in MX2?
Will they do both?
I think it's open in MX2 and then open in MX1. So like I think he can win a race if Jet's not racing it, right?
Oh, Deegan could definitely do an open MX2. He could win that for sure.
Exactly.
Assuming Jet's in MX1.
Yeah, exactly. So I truthfully believe that he could do that. And for example, I think he can win the open if Jet's even in that class, right? On a 250.
Can we just can we just send Tomac, AP, and Deegs?
That's the problem. It's the problem now because they're switching brands. So I don't see them going. A lot of people are saying they'll stay on their brands and then they'll do nations and then they switch. But like we saw this last year, or was it a couple of years ago when Chase switched from Honda to KTM? He already switched brands before they went to the nations, and that's why he didn't want to do it, right? And so, yeah, it's hypotheticals. I love me some hypotheticals, and
I mean, we know AP's gonna be there.
As of right now, it looks like
this year.
Yeah, I would if I'm USA. I might be sending J Coop, AP, and Deeks. I think that team can win right now, and obviously, that's if Tomac and Chase change teams. If they can stay on the same bikes and then they do nations, like you send Chase and Tomac and Deeks 100%, right?
Yeah, calm down with the Chase Clays. Okay, Gabe Buddy chose to not race this year.
All right, I'll reframe. But
he doesn't deserve a spot on the nation. He we're not. He's just choosing.
He's banged up, man. He's just banged up. All right. So with that being said, appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much for all the love. We do have an off week this week. However, we got some MXGP this weekend. So I'll talk with Doc here. We might do a little predictions because there's no actual moto here this weekend. Yeah, Doc might need to do some studying there. But we might do some predictions for MXGP. We'll let you guys know. But we'll definitely be doing maybe a watch party because it's Great Britain. So it's down at a decent time. So maybe a little watch party, but definitely a reaction.
We get some tea and stuff. Tea and crumpet. Hurling's going to go 1-1. That's my predictions.
There you go. But yeah, appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much for all the love on all the videos lately. And we'll be back here possibly for predictions. If not, definitely reactions and maybe watch parties. So we're out, guys. Peace.